So the show's called Important Adults.
Oh,
It's
not
just me-
only I am important today, but I'm an adult.
Yes.
This is my new favorite
You get
podcast.
it. You
Thank
fucking
you.
get it.
It's like the middle of the country with the mega churches.
Yeah.
I was dancing in Houston, I think it was, and there was churches as big as city blocks.
Yeah, it's kind of like it's kind of hot though, like pastors. I mean, don't you think? Like,
I don't know
like-
any pastors.
Like those, I want you to hire me as a hooker and do meth off my ass and
Right,
and
right, 'cause
like
there's-
fuck
and they
me really
all
hard and then like
definitely
beat
do
me and
that.
leave me in a closet and then I have to like go on peoplemagazine.com and
tell them
tell
what
the
happened.
story.
Yeah.
And I have like a big black eye and be like, Rod Parsley did it. Oh my god, and he has a small penis. You know what I mean? Like, or what if he had a big penis?
Yeah, even better.
Yeah.
You don't know.
But like, no, it's kind of, there's something kind of hot about, because we as sex workers, like, we tend to vilify religious people. But they're
Grow
kind of
up
like the
it, so
villain.
I just think it's the same as any cult, just odd. Go ahead, do what
Yeah.
you want. But I'm like, all right, well,
But
you're
yeah, like,
furry, okay? You know, you do you.
Right.
It's not my thing. I don't get it, but you do you.
Yeah, like religious people, I just associate them with kind of like villainy, because they're always trying to like make some 14-year-old kid kill
Right.
himself because he thinks he's gay.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I was just like associated
Oppression.
with like oppression,
Yeah.
rules, rigidity. Those are things
Yeah.
that make good sex, though.
See, I
Like,
I
oppress
like
me,
to sexualize
regulate
like
me.
priests and nuns because they seem really, really like they would actually try and be strict. I feel like these pastors of the mega churches are exactly like I am. They're just really better at like manipulating people. They're just actors and actresses like me.
Yeah. They're
They
great at
just
sales.
chose this. They're good at sales. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't consider them religious. You can't imagine that their speeches are organic. I mean, these
Oh, I
things
know.
are carefully tailored.
Oh, yeah,
I
like-
mean, and there's all kinds of like very interesting psychologically
Yeah.
driving points. They're funneling your ideas. They're doing interesting reinforcements. Like it's a well-designed, well-oiled machine.
Yeah.
Certainly not religious focus.
Yeah, because someone was asking what they thought the change that I've seen in adults I've been naked on the internet since 2009, so
Yeah.
almost a decade. Now, like, the biggest difference from when I started, even though it was only 8 years ago, is
Yeah.
that now girls don't call themselves porn stars, they call themselves sex workers, and they call themselves entrepreneurs.
Sure.
They, like,
because
and I'm-
before, the only way to monetize yourself was through other people's companies.
Yes.
We didn't have access to the traffic that you needed.
Right. And
to,
now they want
to
access.
sell
Now
enough
they want access to
products.
our traffic. It's
Exactly.
so funny.
Exactly.
Alright, we're gonna start with that.
The modern conundrum, I think, for people, for millennials, and I guess we're like elder millennials, you know. I feel more like a millennial in terms of like what my work experience has been like.
Interesting.
And-
I feel
and
the total opposite. I feel
things like Snapchat.
everything that has to do with technology
Okay.
is an absolute nightmare to me. I did not utilize it at all until well after college, other than maybe typing papers.
Oh wow.
And so my entire formative adult life was free of all of this. And then
Oh, you lucky bitch.
at 34, they're like, there's this thing called social media. You do porn, you have to have it. And I'm like, oh, wait, what?
Yeah.
Can't stand it. I actually feel genuine shame taking selfies in public. It's nauseating.
I feel shame as well.
Nauseating.
Yeah.
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 So it's hard for me to do my job. I'm like, all right, this is a really interesting thing you're doing. You have to, this is literally what people are paying for. You have to do it. I have to psych myself up like I'm
Yeah.
getting on stage.
Yeah. No, but I think people are so inured to it now. They're
I
all
know.
dead inside.
Still
anyway.
feel shameful
Yeah.
and narcissistic.
People old enough to judge us for this behavior don't leave the house anymore, so we're good.
That's true.
I think like for creative,
Joyful.
for creative people in this modern era, because I'm a creative.
You
know, I'm
are
a writer,
creative. I am not.
The content mill,
Yeah.
I think is the modern version of like the cubicle.
Yeah.
For our generation, like Office Space was like this really kind of incisive movie about the banality of
Yeah.
like corporate life and how
Yeah.
even Jennifer Aniston's character, like she's not wearing enough flair, where it's like your individuality is being like sort of
Micromanaged. Yeah.
I don't know what the one is going to be for this generation, but I think it's going to center around, you know, this the mill of just like YouTubers like update 3 times a week. Don't forget to click subscribe. Oh no, they demonetize. It's like this constant rat race where it's like they got to get views because they're monetized through ads and then the sponsorship. You know what I mean? And it's like, and then there's those at the top. They're like James Charles that are making like $5 million a year at the age of 19.
I think it's really interesting because you are clearly a genuine artist. Your soul is as a creative. And I know this is a bizarre statement to make, but I feel firmly that you creative people, while you would make far superior content and art than people like I would, because I am not a creative at all, I think it's easier for me to be successful in the creative market right now because it's not about creativity.
It is not.
It is about waking up at 8 a.m. every day and doing the exact same thing every single day in the same way every day, in and out, and I love it. And it is joyful to me. Consistency, monotony. Give me the same thing and the same task and I will fucking crush it. I don't want more.
Right.
And you need more.
Yeah.
Because it's your soul.
Yeah. And that is the kind of,
and you would be the person who's supposed to be making this kind of content.
I know.
And crushing it.
I know.
But the schedule would crush your soul.
Well, I think the thing is, for me, is like I was making these really cool trailers. I was making
you
really
do.
Interesting stuff.
Your shit is so much better than mine.
It's so fucking beautiful. And I was deleting stuff off my phone to make room for this interview, and I was deleting all of them. I was like all of that, and no one gave a fiddler's fuck.
And it's not that they don't. It's just that it's not even about that. It's about just like, you know, the porn companies that do. It's about ad moments. Like, I spend all of my time on what I call my pre-promo and my Instagram work. Like, my shows are what they are, but all of my effort is spent on 10-second clips that's going to sell it. Because that's what makes my money. Like, you know, and that would crush an artistic person.
I mean, it's
so
like
you're telling me that my product can take 10 minutes, you're going to spend 6 hours on this other stupid office shit? Yeah, that's what I'm telling you. Looking at me, you've got to, if you're putting out content all the time on any social media platform, whether it's this, ManyVids, Snapchat, whatever you're doing, you cannot worry about how you look every day or you would go insane.
Oh, I know. It's such a weird time we live in terms of identity because
you can stage name yourself till you're blue in the face. Everyone knows your real name anyway. Just
porn is not just like quitting your job at Subway. Artist, I really struggle. I'm really good with the schedule, but I really struggle with authority. When I was working as a PM for 3 weeks, I was like, I hadn't had a boss in like 15, 20 years.
Yeah,
I'm like,
it's an easy job. To me, for my personality, it's a very easy job.
Yes, it is an easy job. I mean,
it's joyous, it's fun. I like my coworkers. It's easy days.
Yeah. I mean, exactly. It's
for more money than I make with my doctorate. Like, it is what it is. You know what I mean?
And it's like the culture on a porn set is very different from the culture in other work environments. Yeah. So for me, it's a work environment I thrive in because one, I don't have to be around people all the time. I go to set and I'm around people, but I don't in chunks. And it's like, because for me, I have a lot of personality. It's a lot for, you know, people either like me or they really don't like me, and it's one or the other. And it's not that there's anything wrong with me. It's just the way it is.
People vibe with you or they don't.
Yeah, I tend to do better in environments where, you know, I don't see people every fucking day because I'm a lot of personality. That's whenever girls are like, I wanted a place to experiment with my sexuality, and I was like, bitch, if that was true, you would have gotten a FetLife account and got on with your life.
Yeah.
This is the most intense way you could possibly experiment.
Yeah.
But that's always like the canned answers that like the 18-year-old girls give.
The only part about that is true, at least for me, is the really crazy stuff. I feel safer doing it in porn, and I would never do it in my real life.
Yeah.
And I don't just mean strangers.
How are you even gonna organize a gangbang in your personal life? I mean, who's gonna move the furniture? You know what I mean? It's like where are you gonna put the dogs?
And it's just like so like it's so inherently inorganic the way that I would want to do it. I'd be like, all right, so next Tuesday at 5:00, bring your test. All right, we're gonna go ahead and check that before you insert everything. We're all gonna talk. Do you guys get along? And like, is everyone's dick gonna be hard at the same time? Like, the conundrums are endless.
Right.
Are they even gonna do it the way I want? It's gonna be a shit show.
Right.
I just don't even want to do it in real life. No interest.
Have you done gangbangs?
Only for work.
How many have you done on camera?
Less than 10.
How was it? Like, were you scared the first time?
No.
You're like, I'm so slutty.
Not at all.
Were you always a whore, or?
Yeah, that's a good question. You know, I've never had any shame associated with anything related to sex or sexuality.
Me either. I wasn't raised religious either. Like,
so
yeah.
I don't think. Did I have like a zillion sexual partners? No, but I always did what I wanted and never felt any like. I never was like, oh, I shouldn't because I'm a good. Like, I just did it or didn't do it. You know what I mean? So I've done more in porn because it's safe and easy, and you know the men and women are hot and they're tested, and it's awesome.
Who's your favorite guy that you've worked with, you think?
Yeah,
really
like
intense.
alley status here.
Yeah.
Where are you bringing me?
I don't. I to the scene
Is
of
that
the
why you were
crime.
asking me about gangbangs? Where are we
Well,
going? No.
wouldn't that be so funny if I
Yes!
was like, if I was
Here
like,
are the boys!
you get
You
it.
and a guy! You
get
and a guy!
But I was like, yeah, happy birthday!
Best podcast ever!
God, what if every podcast ended with like,
Gangbang.
gangbang?
I'd be on way more often, I'll tell you that.
And I'd call it the gang's all here.
The gang's all here. Got whiteboards with sliding magnets. I got task lists. I'm incredibly organized.
I'm a whiteboard addict.
Yeah.
I am big on lists and whiteboards because I'm so disorganized that if I don't, but that's also why I'm always working, because like a lot of my friends, my straight friends, their joke about me is like, so you have like 8 careers, right? Because I'm like, I podcast and then I do this and I do that and then I stand up, and I do so much because if I don't, I'll like never leave the house.
Oh, that
do you know what I mean?
You think that would be your baseline?
Yeah, like that. Yeah,
that's hard to believe.
That's my baseline.
I think you worry it's your baseline. I don't think it's really your baseline.
I think I get bored easily. I was just hanging out with my girlfriend, the first girlfriend I ever had from when I was 15.
I saw that on your social media like a week ago or something.
Yeah, and she was like, the thing about you is, she's like, you've always just been like, you just like would learn stuff. Like one day you're like, I want to learn to play guitar. She's like, so you taught yourself guitar. She's like, and then you taught yourself bass and piano, and then you got an 8-track recorder and taught yourself how to do sound engineering. Do you remember that? It's boredom. And she was
right, you're not just
like
practicing comedy. You're like in the clubs. You're like doing it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
you're not just like, I'm gonna, because you know those people.
Yeah,
I'm gonna da 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 da, and they take a few classes and never. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like, I mark it off every time I go do stand up.
Nice.
And I pulled out these index cards and I was like, see these? And they're like full of dashes. 600 spots in 2 years I did. Yeah. And I was like, this is what I did before I ever used the word comedian or stand up.
Yeah. Craft.
Yeah, like that is sacred to me. I had a number in my head. You know, until I've done 500 spots.
I don't feel like I can call myself. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm like, I mean, that's arbitrary. Like, I'm not the fucking gatekeeper of comedy.
No, but that's how you felt.
And I was shoulder that, and I was like, you can do it however you want. You need to understand that there are people like me that are trying this hard. Yeah. I lucked out because when I adopted Twitter 10 years ago, I was always myself because I just couldn't be like stupid, vapid, like I'm a cum slut. I tried because I was told that's how to do it. Yeah. And that's what I was promoting. But I just couldn't do it. And directors would say...
I don't think there's any way to do it.
Yeah. Well, and directors would be like, you need to be like more of a dumb whore on Twitter. And I was like, I can't. But like, so lucky for me, because I didn't approach it that way. Like, when I started doing stand-up and stuff,
you had
my fan base was like, they did want to see me do stand-up because they knew...
They were fans of you.
Yes.
For real.
And they knew I was creative, and they knew I was this and that. So it wasn't like, oh, she's doing stand-up
now? It wasn't out of the blue.
Yeah, they were
it didn't seem to be out of the blue to them. They were like, our projection of ourselves on social media is, of course, not us. But
But they were like, it's like when I started doing stand-up, they weren't like, what? They were like, of course she is.
Yeah,
of course
cool.
she would.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Why, like, duh.
Like, finally. Yeah.
And it's like, but trying to explain to people coming in, like, that because from the outside all of this seems easy. Like stand-up is like it's no overhead and you just walk in.
Everyone has sex. Yeah. They think that it's an easy job, but like if I had bedroom sex on film, nobody would buy it.
I know.
It's absolute garbage.
That's all they sell on OnlyFans.
Yeah. No, but like if you can't see dick,
yeah, I know.
If you can't see dick,
Xander was like, here, let me move you in this position so they can see penetration. And I was like,
They want it.
30 seconds. They get 30 seconds, and then we're going back to what's fucking comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I was like,
I understand.
I'm so over it.
Yeah.
But I mainly read my porn.
Nice.
I like little ASSTR.org. I like a little literotica.
Nice.
You know?
Yeah.
Like, but for the same reason, which is like, I don't recognize anyone in the material.
Yes. Wow, that's really important.
You know? And then two, it's like, it's fiction, so you can kind of just do whatever the fuck you want. You don't have to worry about like the constraints
Rules.
of the law or reality.
Yeah.
You know?
The human body, physics,
Yeah,
nothing.
exactly. It's like you can just kind of like take it all the way to fantasy, you know, and I find that's really common that women tend to like hentai or literary erotica more than they do porn. And that's why people like, and there's like women like women don't watch porn. It's like, no, we consume porn, just we prefer it in a different way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like those women that are reading those romance novels are reading them for the sex scenes.
It's porn.
Like, it's porn.
Romance novels are porn.
Yeah.
When your woman is reading a romance novel on the beach or whatever the cliche is,
she's reading porn.
She's watching porn just like you do on whatever platform
Yep.
you like. Yeah.
Yep.
She's using it to fucking wank off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that'll just like that usually like men. I think men are usually
That
surprised.
blows men's minds.
Yeah,
like, what the fuck do you think? Which is amazing because we
Yeah.
get to buy our porn at the grocery store.
Yeah. Well, no, like I fell into a weird K-hole, and that was like I was reading a lot of like rape porn stuff. Like it was, you know, literary erotica, so no one was being harmed.
Yeah, come on.
But
people,
but then I got interested in like some of it was just incredibly violent and really intense, and so then I kind of got sucked into like I started infiltrating these groups and people because I was just curious.
like online when they're talking
Yeah,
about
like
it.
I was just curious, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like and not like chat rooms talking about rape, but I mean chat rooms
About the book.
about books that they were writing or and what was so interesting is like the darkest, most depraved shit was written by women.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
That doesn't
like
surprise me.
like
Especially rape fantasies are so
Yeah.
fucking common in women.
Yeah.
Not being raped.
yeah.
I know people hear that and they're like, oh, they wanted it secretly.
Yeah, and it's like no, like the whole. I mean, rape fantasy is an oxymoron because if it's your fantasy, you're in control of every element.
Exactly. I know. If it's
you know,
planned out, guess what?
Yeah, it's not really rape, you know. And so it's like, well, I feel weird because I fantasize about rape. I'm like, yeah, but the fantasy is in your brain, correct?
Right. So exactly.
So you're actually you're in charge of every element.
Every movement, every touch, every second is what you create.
So it's actually not a rape fantasy. It's a fantasy about being forced by someone that turns you on and being forced to do things that you want to do and that turn you on.
Yeah.
And being forced to do them in a way that you find sexy.
Yes.
That's not a rape fantasy. That's just a different kind of sex that you like to have.
Exactly.
I guess we can stop there. That's like a lot.